Hey guys, we're up here at the City Hall today. It's Thursday, April 19th. It's now 12:50 in the afternoon. We're going to have a meeting with the city manager. We've got some questions that we're going to be going over with him about the open records request, the investigation that he conducted, and the notes that he had on March 9th. Those are the records from the last meeting on the 9th that we had.
Mm-hmm. This is what you asked for, which you also looked at before.
Okay.
These are some of the subsequent ones. This is one with Ms. Duffin with the attached information.
Okay. Just make sure that we're on the same page here, that this meeting was set up to go over the records that we viewed last week. They indicated your investigation to the open record violation. Also asked a question about Matthew Holbert's role within the city. And you made it clear that we were already viewing the records that day, so I want to make sure that we have time to address that as well too. So we're going to go to open record violations that involve Major Phelps, the investigation part. The failure portion, because according to your notes as well too, that you decided that you didn't want to hold them accountable for their actions, and also as far as the investigation notes that was submitted to me. When we first met, I gave you a link to the encounter on February 8th, which was listed day 3 return video on the YouTube link. You said that you even watched it. Did you watch that in its entirety?
I watched most of it, yes.
Okay, so you didn't even bother watching its entirety as requested. Okay. So, without watching the video in its entirety, how did you determine that there was absolutely no violations of the law or policies conducted if you didn't watch the video in its entirety?
Because I watched the majority of the video, and it was my interpretation that he was not violating the law as the law specifies for the punishment.
Well, it's not interpretation, it's what the law says.
No, sir.
Okay. And we're not...
You know, we can maybe cut a little closer on that with this, okay? If you believe that there's been something illegally done, you have a right to pursue that through the district attorney's office or an attorney.
I also have the
You
right
are
to
coming
address
in.
my government.
Yes, you do.
grievance.
And you are coming in and you are asking me my rationale or my reason for not taking any action against Major Phelps. I've advised you that. You've asked to take a look at whatever documentation there is. I've provided that. I'll be happy to answer any of your questions, but when you keep going back on the same thing, I mean, I'm not changing my opinion. You have yours.
I'm not asking you to change your opinion. I'm trying to
I'm telling you that I do not believe that Major Phelps violated the law.
Okay. Then what provisions of law or Open Records Act allows somebody to refuse to accept the Open Records request? There is no provision in the law, so is there a policy? And if policy...
My interpretation with the tape was that there was a lot of mix and confusion between your complaint filing process that you want to do and your request for open records.
Then I don't believe that you watched the video at the beginning because...
Yes, I did. I watched it right at the beginning.
Okay, but, well then you would have seen that I gave Major Phelps the Open Records request for the request to view the fee schedule, which he says, we have a little dialogue about that, you have to tell him what the fee schedule on the computer, he acknowledges that. Then he also talked about the Open Records request to view the repair documents for the patrol car, which he acknowledged that as well too.
Okay.
He accepted both of those requests from me in his hand. Acknowledged them, accepted them. Then we went into the complaint portion of the process, which we never actually got to that part because I wasn't able to get to the point of telling him that because he decided to change the word from process to procedures and demanded sign the affidavit. And then after telling Chief that I had a complaint to submit against the major, he no longer wanted to help and then the papers all started coming back to me. Okay, now he's already received the open records request, acknowledged it verbally, because the law says orally or in writing. He accepted it in writing, he accepted it orally, and then he refused to take them. He gave them back, and then he refused to allow the other people to accept it. Now,
No, you don't know that. That's your assumption that he refused.
are you telling her that she cannot take these FOIA requests from a citizen?
She is not taking any of those documents from him at this time until he come back to see the chief, okay?
She's not able to, are you telling her that she cannot take a FOIA request from a citizen?
Yes.
Yes. That's not an assumption, that's a statement that he made. Sir, you cannot, I don't believe you can legally do that. Well, I just did. I don't know if you can legally do that.
Well, I just did.
Those are the facts. I'm sorry. He also told Corporal Aurora as well, too, that not to answer any questions about open records requests, which again. Sir, do you know who takes FOIA requests if this lady doesn't take FOIA requests?
I'm not sure about that, sir. I really don't know. Like I said, like I said, I don't handle complaints. I don't know who handles all that stuff.
Don't
So-
even say anything to him.
I have provided to you everything that you have asked for on the open records. You can take a look at that and you can have your own interpretation of that.
Actually, we'll get to that statement. Actually, no, we'll address that statement now.
Sure.
No, you have not.
What have I not provided to you, open records that you asked for?
I had submitted an open records request to you on 3/21/2018 that I requested to have for the information regarding to all your notes that pertaining to the investigation. You forward that message over to Matthew Holbert, who then made me resubmit the request back to him, which then he sent it back to you to request that information. And according to his memo here that I printed right off from there that he sent to me, he said there were no additional records relative to these interviews. They only included one page, which was this page here. This is the only information that is provided
That was
to
what
me
you asked for.
that pertained to your investigation on that. And all
Relative to that date, yes, that's right.
to the open record violation, not to a specific date, to the
To
open record
my
investigation.
understanding of what you asked for in that open records request, that was what was provided.
Also, there was another thing that I noticed in here too as well, too, dated 3/15. I'm not sure which one, which stack that's in, but dated 3/15 as well too. When I initially gave you my statement, it said that Major Phelps had contacted or had somebody contact the municipal court clerk's office and advised them not to respond and not to take my open records request. That was part of the investigation as well too. That paperwork was not provided in the open records request.
No, sir. No, that's absolutely false.
No, it's not.
Every bit of paperwork was provided to you that you asked for.
Not the notes. I never asked you for all notes.
I am telling you, everything I have is there. If you want more notes, I can't give them to you. They don't exist.
You gave me these notes to view.
I
on
gave you
April
what you
12th.
asked for.
On April 12th.
Every single time I gave you what you asked for.
So you did not, because
Okay.
on March 21st, when I filed the open records request for all the information pertaining to the investigation, as I just said, you did not provide this attachment here, which in this note here
That's
says,
not what was asked for.
and all subsequent information that pertained to the
But
investigation.
you asked for the investigation. The first investigation is the information which you have in those papers there. That's
Okay.
what you asked for. That's what you got.
That's not what I asked for.
Yes, it is.
I've got the paperwork, and I asked for everything else that was subsequent to the investigation.
And that's what I'm providing to you now.
Now, after the fact of it was filed on March 21st.
But you, wait a minute now.
Okay.
You asked for the investigation relative to that. That's this sheet.
One sheet.
You subsequently have come back for this meeting to ask what else may be involved with that. That's this.
I filed,
This memo
no.
from Ms. Duffin is not directly related to your request on the investigation for Major Phelps. This memo
No.
from Ms. Duffin is not directly related to your request on the investigation for Major Phelps.
Now,
You were provided that when you were asked for that.
right. The note dated 3/12/2018 right here.
Mm-hmm.
I've looked at this note several times here.
Yes?
Can you please point out in any section of this note here that has anything to do with an open records violation investigation?
I never
Because-
said it did. I provided to you what you asked for.
what
The
did-
primary thing on this note was when I asked, as part of this portion, Ms. Duffin if the major had told her to do anything relative to denying your turning in an open records request, the answer was no.
This here does not is not stating any of that.
Well,
Okay.
I'm advising you what happened. You asked for a note. It may not be what it is that you're looking for. If I ask somebody and they give me an answer, I won't necessarily make a note on that.
On March 21st, I requested to view the records that pertain to the investigation of the open records violation.
Mm-hmm.
Then one-page note that was provided to me was this one page right here. There is nothing on this one page that has anything to do with anything that says open records violations or an investigation at all. The only thing that says on here is that Miss Janet was scared of me.
Okay?
Okay?
But
Now,
at that time, I asked her. It
But
may
there's-
not be on there, but I asked her as a follow-up.
The follow-up, let's see if I can find that. I want to mix pages up here, this is mine. 218. So, would you say that this is one of the notes that pertains to the investigation as well, too?
As far as I know.
Okay.
Although actually all it is, I think, is just discussion on when you came in. Or follow-up on that.
Yeah, I believe that would still be considered part of that. Since it does pertain to me asking you, it's attached to me asking you to look into the open records law being broken in that statement there. So that wasn't provided, that note section was. Again, your lawyer only sent this one page here, not this. This, again, asked for all supplemental data as well, too. Supplemental data may not have been the exact word that I used, but when it says that she's scared of me here, and there's a statement that's attached to that, that should have been accompanied with that, and it wasn't. Whether you believe it or not, you said you have your own opinion of the facts. I'm stating verbally to you, and as I have in writing as well too, Major refused to take my open records request that day.
I understand
multiple
that.
times.
You've made that clear from day one.
Okay. He also told the custodian of records, which was Cindy Miser, not to take my open records request. Okay. He also told Corporal Orari not to answer my questions about open records request. And then there was a phone call. Now you said, Janet said that she called and that nothing had anything to do with the major. However, open records requests that I filed for the phone records indicated that both Major Phelps and Janet Duffin both called the court clerk's office during that exact time frame that I was in the office. Now, Janet may have called, may have. Major may have called first and then had Janet. I don't know. But open records requests for the phone records indicate both of them did.
That's not my
Okay.
understanding.
There's a little bit of conflicting information there. Open records requests, both of them called. You're saying Janet Duffin is making a clear statement that she's taking full responsibility of contacting the municipal court clerk's office. And that was what she relayed to you. I'll have to take your word for that at this point. I came to you as well to advise you that the open records request that I submitted to them to view the repair documents that Major Phelps clearly says that the equipment had been repaired. So what did we find out?
About the vehicle?
Yeah.
It was repaired.
And then if I wanted to see those repair documents, I needed to submit an open records request.
It was repaired.
It was repaired? Do y'all have the repair documents on that?
No, if you want that, just submit an open record. I'll find it for you.
Okay. Well, actually, I got that with me today.
Okay.
I came to you to let you know that the time frame had expired within the 3 days to respond to that. You said, is there anything else you want me to do other than advise me? Well, again, I'm advising you that the law was broken again, just like I have before that you had a difference of opinion on. And that's all I can do is let you know. I'm trying to work with the city here, and I don't think y'all understand this. I'm trying to work with you guys to fix these open records issues. I'm not trying to be this person that's looking to entrap people or like how other people do. I'm trying to make things better for us all, and I really am trying to work with you guys. But I've been being dealt with lies, and I guess I'll say in my opinion, lies, cover-ups, falsified information, openly and blatantly breaking the Open Records Act, as I understand it here. You know, you made clear in one of the conversations that I'm not an attorney, I'm only entitled to my opinion. But you don't have to be an attorney in order to read the law and understand what the law says. I filed an open records request, which Chief Lynn replied to, saying that Ms. Janet Duffin and Cindy Miser both are the custodial records over there. So my request to file my open records request with both of them was at the right and appropriate places. Both of them under the advisement or direction, or whatever terminology you want to use there, of Major Phelps, was told not to accept my open records request. Janet Duffin is the lead custodial record of the police department, according to Chief Lynn. Cindy Miser is the backup. I created a video for you that I tried to give to show you. I believe it was on March 9th as well too. That I made several attempts to try to show you exactly where I condensed the video down to show you exactly where the violations of the Open Records Act occurred, so that you didn't get lost in all the other commotion that was going on, so that you could make it easier for you to understand what I'm trying to express to you. And for whatever reason, you decided you didn't want to look at it. And like I said, if you got time, I'll show you the video real quick.
No, I don't think so. That's okay.
You don't want to see that?
I understand what you're talking about.
Okay. And I asked one last time, and you said no. But those are the statements of the facts of what happened as viewed and seen by the recorded evidence. Again, I don't believe that my original request, that was dated on the 21st, that asked you for all information pertaining to the investigation was provided, because when we looked at the information on April 12th, we found other information that actually links and pertains to the investigation that occurred. And, you know, from my understanding of the law as well too, that when I requested for any and all records that pertained to that information, and not all the information is provided, or a reason why it's legally exempt from disclosure, that's a violation of the Open Records Act as well too.
Well, you're right.
Okay.
What I'm referencing is when you came to me because you said Major Phelps refused to take your open records request.
That is correct.
When you came to me.
That is
Okay?
correct.
Now, when you came to me and advised you the situation, I took it. So the city did take your request. I also said I'd look into the situation at your request for Major Phelps on that date,
The city.
which was done.
Okay, so you're saying because Major Phelps denied my request, I had to come over here, and because you accepted.
No, I'm not saying
No.
you had to.
No,
What I'm saying
no.
is you did.
Please let me finish my statement real quick. So what you're saying is because Major Phelps denied anybody from taking my open record request, I left that department and came over here looking to file a complaint against that for him not taking my complaint, which is a direct violation of the Open Records Act. And while we were discussing, we talked about open records, and because I gave them to you, you're saying that now nullifies his actions as saying the request was completed as acceptance?
I'm saying that the
So that's
city
what you
did
just said.
take your open records request.
Okay. And I'll give you that. The city did. The Perry Police Department, where I submitted it, did not.
And you asked me to check into that.
Okay. So
And that was done.
now, okay. So you checked in. Did they on February 8th accept my open records request from me when I submitted it?
There was an awful lot of confusion.
So
Apparently they did not.
okay.
I would like to submit
She's
a
not
FOIA
taking
request.
any of those, a document from him at this time until he come back to see the chief, okay?
She's not able. Are you telling her that she cannot take a FOIA request from a citizen?
Yes.
Is that a legal thing you can
I'll tell
do?
you what, until you come back, she's not taking any of those documents. That we already talked about that.
I don't know if you can legally do that. Or
I just did.
I'm really not trying to pick this spot. I am trying to find a FOIA request. I filed it through you last
I don't take any
time.
of that, and that's my supervisor. And
Okay, so who takes FOIA request if you don't? Because you took it from me last time when I filed a FOIA request. If she doesn't take, ma'am, do you do FOIA request acceptance? I'm really not trying to put you in the middle of it. I need to submit my FOIA request for the information. And Major told me to come back and I can do that then. He'd have the information and he doesn't want to give it to me because I have a camera.
I don't have any knowledge of that.
Do y'all accept FOIA requests over here for the police department?
Lawyer, credit card?
No, FOIA requests. Records, Open Records Act information.
Secretary of Municipal Court? We don't have a response for your questions, sir.
Okay. At any point did you see here in the video when I asked Major, did you accept? Are you telling her not to accept? open
I
records?
heard a lot of back and forth, yes.
That's not what I asked. Did you hear Major
I
say
heard a lot of
specifically?
back and forth.
Back and forth.
Like you stated yourself, it was
Okay.
a lot of confusion in there.
Talking-
I agree.
Okay, now you're talking the back and forth took place mostly inside the office. I'm referring to outside of his office when we're in front of Cindy's desk. In front of Miss Cindy's desk, did you see the part of the video where he says she's not taking any papers from you at this time? Because you said you watched part of it. I don't know how much you watched. I don't know if you watched just the
I
first 3
consider
minutes
that
or
to be
5
part
minutes.
of the whole process and the confusion that was there. It's very difficult to determine, in my opinion, between your complaints and your open records requests.
I would like to submit
She's
my
not
FOIA
taking any
request.
of those, a document from him at this time until he come back to see the chief, okay?
She's not able. Are you telling her that she cannot take a FOIA request from a citizen?
Yes.
He does like this to the video like this and says, yeah, okay, I'm talking about the open records request. He shows the camera the open records request.
Fine.
Okay, so, I mean, I don't, if you're that confused on which, if he accepted both of them from the get-go, and then he says at the desk that she's not taking it, and you can't legally do it, and I just did, and okay, that just doesn't make any sense to me at all. And I don't mean disrespect, that seems like willful ignorance, just overlooking that.
Okay. And now, do you handle that, or does the records handle that?
So now?
Do you handle that, or does the records department handle
Oh,
that?
no. I'll get, you drop that off to me and I'll take care of the rest.
Okay. And I need to follow that up with her. I guess that's with records. This is the other form here. This is an open records request to review the fee schedules associated with the opens records.
Prepare any equipment to come back to have it checked out. That's when I came back in February to follow up on that. And I also wanted to have it logged that the equipment did not function properly in case it tends to be a problematic thing going over with the Perry Police Department. I'm not saying that it is, but wanted to have it officially logged for record. Because to that point, there had been no official logs recorded that equipment malfunctioned that day.
on the in-car video. It did not record any audio whatsoever, period.
Was it turned on?
Yeah, the camera system was running. I don't know why the audio, I can speculate. I don't know why the audio didn't work.
In-car.
Okay, as I keep saying, the in-car, I'm agreeing with
Right.
you 100%. The in-car body cam audio did not function.
Based off of the information I've been provided at this point, I've requested information. That's the only information I've been given. Now, when I talked with Major Buck originally in September, he said, I don't know why it wasn't working. I can only speculate why it was working, but he never gave any reasons why, or even suggestions or even hypothetical answers. He just says, I don't know why. I was explaining to the Major about that on the first day and said I wanted to file an official complaint, which he took out a business card and wrote down the officer's name and date. That's all that he wrote on there. But the reports, the memos, you know, that comes after that, following up on this, is that Major indicated that the equipment, well, in his official report, was that I never told him what it was about in the first place, even though I did on the first video. Then he makes reference somewhere in that memo saying that the equipment wasn't working properly. And Captain Buck says that the equipment didn't record any audio and list maybe a possible reason or whatever. And then Chief's statement says that it was operator error. So that you've got conflicting information between three different officers. I mean, you've got two officers saying that one broken, one malfunction, one says it was operator error.
In-car.
Okay, as I keep saying, the in-car, I'm agreeing with
Right.
you 100%. The in-car body cam audio did not function.
It was repaired.
You know, as Captain Buck told you in September, that was obviously officer error. The machine was working fine. Had audio before, had audio after. It wasn't synced that day.
From what I can view here, and maybe you can help point it out to me in case I overlooked it, do you have any records, handwritten, typed, whatever, that indicate, that says anything that you were investigating an open records violation anywhere?
No.
Again, you have nothing that indicates it's an open records request, then to me that tells me that you, because nothing indicates it's an Open Records Act violation investigation, that tells me that you didn't actually investigate the open records request like I asked you to.
Mr. Nunn, you can make your own assumptions all you want. They're my notes. It's my process.
But your notes doesn't say it has anything to do with an open records violation.
They don't necessarily have to.
When we backtrack then, we've already established in this meeting here that the Perry Police Department did not accept my open records request, period. That was established. And
That's
you
what
confirmed
you
that.
said.
And
Yes.
you confirmed that as well.
I guess that may be the case.
And the video shows that
Yes,
they
I
did
know
that.
the video. You're right.
Okay.
You reference it.
Right. He not only didn't hold his employee accountable, he then tried to insult me by claiming that I was difficult. That I was a reason for the way that the Major was behaving. If that's the case, and I'm saying that hypothetically because I don't agree with that statement, if something as little as refusing to give a name and phone number, or to sign a legal affidavit to a complaint which is not required by their policy, nor by law, to do, or procedure, because their website says that you can file anonymously. It's what's posted on the website. But if not giving a phone number and name is enough to set him off to that degree, where he's shutting everybody down, that's a concern. And I just feel very disrespected by both the police department and by you for not even holding them accountable for the policy violation, at least for not accepting the complaints on the original day, not accepting the complaints the second day, or any of the provisions, because the provisions of the Open Records Act has many provisions, and there's not one violation that anybody can find. It only takes one non-compliance of any of those provisions for it to be considered a violation. And I pointed out, I don't know, maybe 15 different instances that refer to different things in the Open Records Law, but nobody can find one, can't even see it in one incident that by him not taking it at all, and they refused, period, to accept it that day, that everybody's okay with it. And I'm not okay with it. Again,
My understanding is this is an open records request. We send you whatever those records are, and that's it.
no.
No? Okay?
Well, you can if you want to. Okay. As long as you're not charging any, assessing any fees, if you want to send me all the information through the email, I'm fine with that. If you want to put it on disk, I'm fine with that as well too. If there's a fees that's assessed with you compiling this major or whatever, I don't know how many emails that y'all have had back and forth. It may only be one. It may be 3,000. I don't know. But the request is to actually come and view and inspect them at the location. The law indicates that you're allowed to. I mean, I can come here and ask to use the internet, and under supervision, I'm allowed to by law to do that under the Open Records Act. So I don't need to use the internet, but to view the emails, I could view the emails as well too from the computers with supervision, and it says with supervision. So whichever one is the easiest way for you guys to compile that information, I'll work with you on that.
Okay.
So. And the last thing I'd like to leave you with, I don't know if you follow the news very often or not, but I want to let you know that open records violations, in your opinion or not, are serious issues that are facing, it's in the public view at this point. It's all over the news, it's all over YouTube, it's all over different networks and sub-networks. Transparency is something that people demand from our government. We put you in the position that you're in, whether we elected you or you were appointed by an elected official. We pay your salaries. We expect, loyalty, honesty, integrity, and transparency. And when any of those come into question, we do expect and demand accountability.